Hello and welcome to Let's Get Digital. This is Megan, and I am very excited to have on Laura Dobbins. And so, Laura, thank you so much for joining us. And can you just give us basically a brief background of you just tell us about yourselves, basically about yourself, what you do, and what your current role is, etc.
All right. I am a very seasoned content marketer who was doing content marketing before they called it content marketing. And I came into content marketing through publishing. Actually, I was in the publishing business for a long time, book, and then it went into the sort of a trade organization for magazines. So then I was tangential to magazines. And then um, one thing led to another and ended up in tech, doing content marketing for tech, which is really a place I really love because it's this combination of being creative with what would be traditionally thought of as a bit dry
Mhm.
content, but that's where the challenge is. And so it's super
Yeah.
exciting to figure out how do you get the emotion into something that is technical, something that is a platform, a SaaS platform, like not what you think of as something that's gonna, make you feel things, but actually all these businesses, they really help people and serve them. And so that's where I come in with trying to take an educational, empowerment kind of message, like how can you do your job better, make your life better. It's almost like an Oprah approach to content marketing, like
I love
B2B.
that. I love that. So, what is the name of the company you're currently with? Or and is it your company? Are you working with them? What, yeah.
Yeah, I'm currently with a company called Riskified, which is a fraud prevention platform for e-commerce, actually any digital business, because also travel and gift cards and things like that are
I,
also can be fall prey to different types of fraud. And it's an amazing platform that, like, I've learned so much since being here. And oh my gosh, all the things they know about us
yeah,
and
it's
all the
crazy.
things that are like fraudsters are doing, like the fraudsters, oh my god, I learned, it's insane, it's amazing, but
That's
there
very neat.
is, it's really, what was that?
I said it's very needed today. I feel like with as
Mm,
technology's, gotten more advanced, there's like the way that people are scamming people is just gotten like crazier and crazier.
it really has, it really has. We recently, our data scientists uncovered all these playbooks on the dark web where they're actually providing instructions to people on how to abuse return policies, how to abuse promo policies, how
Wow.
to get all this stuff free. And it's an interesting thing that they feel like they are Robin Hoods, really, like they're sticking it to the
Mhm.
man kind of thing. And the big corporations, this is a way we can get some of
Yeah.
ours back. Like it's really weird and amazing and fascinating, really. So
I've
that's
seen
just one
videos.
facet.
Yeah, I've seen videos like that on TikTok of people like instructing people how
Mm,
to partake in fraud or scams online. And it really is, I think the way they justify it is we are doing something good, or we're like you said, sticking it to the man and giving it back to to the little people. But it's you also don't realize that money's coming from somewhere. Like you're taking that from someone. So yeah,
yeah, it's not just coming from the profits of the
right.
companies in the end. That huge expense, we haven't released this research yet, but the total cost of returns and refunds abuse is almost $200 billion
Wow,
across globally. Yeah, 200 billion.
that's insane.
And so what happens is companies have to build that into their
Yep.
cost model. So it really costs us more in the end
Yeah.
because of this
Yeah.
stuff.
That's wow, that's fascinating. It's really interesting too how you
Yeah.
said you're trying to bring emotionally engaging content to a space that is typically thought as more dry, which is like the tech space. And I think
Mhm.
that's super useful. I actually just wrote a book similarly, but it's about how to inject comedy into content of any kind. And it doesn't necessarily need to be like laugh out loud funny, but there's something about like bringing a lightheartedness um, in your content to spaces that aren't traditionally thought of like that, if that makes sense. And I think,
100%.
yeah, I think it brings people, you're going to get more eyes on your content, etc. So I think that's really cool. So I guess what is your official role at your company right now? You said you're basically content marketing, right?
Oh yeah, the director of content marketing, and so I sit in the place where all the performance team, they need content. Like I do the thought leadership content, like the ebooks and the
Oh,
research
cool.
reports and blogs, but then we also do all the conversion copywriting as well, like the promos and the which are like microcosms of how do you get response, like
Mhm.
kind of thing. And like and then you can take, or this is what I do, like you take the feelings and the results that you get, like what worked in these smaller formats, and then see how you can apply them into the bigger formats. And of course, with research reports and any kind of heavy duty kind of research, you try to keep it a little bit more serious or more have, but it's always with the idea of this will help you. This will make your life better. This is, you need to know, this is stuff you need to know in order to succeed.
Yeah.
So that's the fire behind everything.
I like
But
how you said,
so,
sorry, go ahead.
yeah, go ahead.
No,
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 I
it's
was going to
just,
say, so it's all the teams, like all the various teams, they need the various kinds of content in order for us to build leads and build awareness, build like all the get to grow, really.
yeah.
It's one of the key pillars of growth for a company. And yeah.
Absolutely. I think, yeah, and I think that the shift from traditional marketing to digital marketing has happened, I don't know, over the past like 5 to 10 years, it's been shifting. But I think like even some companies or brands we work with now, they aren't totally understanding like how important content is in 2024, and it really is, just because if you're not making it, your competitor is, or somebody else is going to be putting it out. And so I also really liked what you said about the educational aspect, and I think that's a great way to make content, especially if it's for something more informative or like more on the serious side. Educating your viewers or customers, etc., is always a really good idea.
Yeah, of course, like education, you still want to have a little bit of lightness to it because you can't have everything be so heavy duty. You have to have entry points to allow people in. So comedy is, I don't use, I sometimes a little bit of funny, but I have to be, because we're a global audience, you have to be really careful with comedy
Oh yeah.
because comedy doesn't translate. It does
Not
not
at all.
translate around, sometimes not even regions of the US, but since it's a
It's
global
true.
company, okay, so I try to be a little careful with that, but still have a lightness. That's the only word I can come up with, is so that it's not, it doesn't drive people away, kind of thing. So,
Exactly. Yeah, no, comedy is,
yeah.
it's a very good point. It's very hard to translate. And that's why I say, yeah, you don't even need to think of it as laugh out loud, just something that'll keep your attention,
Mhm.
not super
Yeah.
dry.
Yeah.
What have you always been into marketing? You said you were in publishing before. Is that something
Yeah.
you're always interested in?
I've had this circuitous route in my life, in my career life. I went to the School of Interdisciplinary Studies and in at Miami University in Ohio, which is now the
Oh.
individualized studies. It's design your own major kind of place.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
yeah, it was an amazing experience. And I graduated with a bachelor's of philosophy, which, okay, what do you do with that? Kind of thing.
I was
And I love to read. I love
Yeah.
any kind of movies or things like that. So that's, I said, I guess I should get into publishing. And
Yeah.
so, long story short, moved to New York and had a career in book publishing, academic book publishing, actually, originally,
Oh, wow.
and then young adult publishing, and then I was at HarperCollins as a, like working in the sort of like the, it was actually, I'd say, my first taste of conversion copywriting, which was doing their catalogs, so
Okay.
all the new releases and ads and things like that. But yeah, then it was, what do we do now? And so I went back and started an MFA at the New School in nonfiction writing, to which
Oh.
is, yeah, it's more, that's more pure creative, but at the same time it's really useful for just
Mhm.
enhancing writing abilities in general. And then where did I go after that? I think I ended up in various, like an ad agency. I ended up at Magazine Publishers of America, places like that. And then what happened? Oh, I got this grant to pay, that would pay for tuition, and so I ended up getting a master's in zoology. so
Oh, that's so
so I just have a general like curiosity about a lot of different things,
I'm
which
the
I
same
think is
way.
perfect for content
Yes.
people in
Yes.
general. Like it propels everything, and it's really served me nicely with like all the scientific method kind of stuff, because when I'm dealing with a lot of heavy duty research, to have that critical eye and wait a minute, this is not adding up, or this isn't, it allows you to know what the right questions to ask, which so
Yeah,
often are the things.
that's so true.
So yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
and then I ended up after the zoology degree, found tech, and it's such a, like I said, it's like this combo of creative, which is maybe the MFA part of me talking, and then this sciency part, this sort of like ability to take in this kind of dense stuff and okay, let's figure out where are the nuggets, where are the things that people need, what do
mhm.
they need to know from this? So
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that's a really I'm the same way. I have so many interests and I sometimes think I'm like, why am I into this or why am I doing this? But it really that's nice to hear that it comes into play.
it
Yeah.
does. Like, why live another way? Like,
Yeah.
it's like life is interesting then. Life is
Yeah.
interesting.
It's so true. So, speaking of like the more analytical side, what are some like actually what's a way or ways that you would measure the like success that you're having in digital marketing or in a marketing campaign? Is there a certain way you gauge it, whether that's, yeah, like analytically speaking or just creatively speaking?
Oh yeah, the creative part. That's a good question. The analytically, like this company went through some change within the marketing department like 2 years ago or so,
Okay.
and it didn't have content for a period of time. So there was a real deficit. So when I came on, it was all about rebuilding
Mm,
and getting content going and a real focus on getting leads.
mm.
So and marketing qualified leads, sales qualified, and then awareness as well, and building up our reputation again. And we always had a great reputation, but part of reputation is also having great content out there.
Yeah.
So that was a lack there for a little bit. And last year we launched a big thought leadership program with a big study. It was a benchmark study on policy abuse, actually, like on the stuff that we were talking about, like the returns and reseller abuse. And we have a couple more research pieces coming out that are just fascinating, actually, on this stuff. But so we did this. It was quite a bit larger than I expected the study to be, but we did it and we got it, and it's launched all these other things. And so the campaign has done really well. And in fact, I've submitted it for an award. We'll see if
Oh,
it wins,
wow. Yeah.
but like, yeah, so we did just in 4 months, it became 10% of the influence of the whole for the whole year of all the leads,
Wow.
which is significant for
Yeah.
all different channels that bring in leads to a company. So there's that I feel like was a real success. It was also success because we were a new team
Mhm.
and figuring out how to work together,
Yep.
and it's just been tremendous, like to like this year in particular. Oh, we've worked out so many kinks because we already got it that way. I'm just really glad I get to work with some of these really talented people that we all want the same thing. We all pitch in together and
Yeah.
it's good.
That's all I know, and that's super important when you're creating content. Obviously, you can create content on your own, but if it's at a larger scale, having the right people, some people are more right-brained, left-brained, and when you come together and you can really
Yeah.
like study, like my partner is very analytical and I'm more creative. So when we create content, it's like a
Mm.
good fusion of the two right and left brain.
That is a perfect combo. And we have that too. We have a lot of that. We all did the DISC assessment. I don't know if
Mhm.
you know what that is.
I've heard of that.
Yeah. And so, yeah. And so there were a lot of C's, which are what do they call it? Not conscientious. It's another
Oh,
word.
I know.
But
I
it's
feel like
like
this
they're the
S's. Yes.
yeah, they're the analytical people. And then we had a lot of S's who are steady going, and then a lot of D's and some I's. Our I's were the least, but the I's are influencers. The D's are the ones who are the direct, so take charge, get things done kind of thing. And the I's are the influencers, are the relationship oriented people. So,
Oh, maybe I got to take that.
I mean,
That's
we
like,
all have. It's
yeah.
cool. It's really cool. It helped us all, I think, reach new understanding. It was during this new stage,
Yeah.
and like the moment, oh, you're an I. Oh, so you need to chit chat at the
Yep.
beginning of a Zoom meeting.
Yep.
Like you need that. Like,
No, it helps you understand each other better. That's really useful.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it helped. It really did help. Yeah, I
So
recommend it.
I know, I'll check that out after, let you know what I am. So, do you when you create content, what are the platforms that you are using or leveraging the most? Are you guys posting on social media? Is it for your website? What type of, and do you also have written forms of content like blogs, etc.? How do you do it?
All of the above. Basically, what we did with the research report is take this strong pillar, has so much data in it, has so much useful information. So then we launched a bunch of blogs from it, like
Okay.
on looking at specialized areas that drew on the research. Then we created a couple infographics also with like foundational kind of
Mhm.
stuff. One focuses on more the it's a little bit on the long side, but it's really good. And then we did one that was things that surprised me. So we did an infographic on that one. We've done some videos. We are actually working on a video, not the product marketing team is working on a video for that's on the policy. It's actually on one of our products, but when you talk about our products, you're talking about the ways that we solve for it. So they're the biggest issues that
All right.
our customers face. We have done it's been the source of webinars, several
Oh, yeah.
webinars.
Yeah.
It's been the source of lots of talks, like little regional talks, as well as some of the bigger stage talks as well. I'm trying to think of what else we've done. Since we're a newer marketing team, we haven't, there are all the things that I'd like to do. Like, I'd like to do some experiential kind of things like microsites and things like that around policy abuse and like rocks in a box. Like,
Yeah.
well, we were doing for a short time, we did like a direct mail kind of piece, but
Oh,
it was
yeah.
rocks in a box. Apparently, a lot of people will print out the label and then you have to have the weight be somewhat of what the thing was that you bought,
Right.
and then you return the box with the label with rocks in it that simulate the weight of your. I feel like I'm giving a playbook now. Whoops,
No,
I
it's
don't
so
mean
that's
to.
no, so
It's like
that's what people are
it's
doing.
people do that.
That's
I'm like
so
I'm so
bad.
naive. I had no
No.
idea all this
No, I'm too
stuff.
scared.
Yeah.
I'm, like, too worried about bad karma to do any of that, so don't like,
Yes. Yes. It's just it
that's
doesn't even cross
crazy.
my mind. It
Yeah,
doesn't even.
no, that would make fantastic content. Not that you wanna give people ideas, but, like, I didn't know. That's wild to me, and I've like I said, I've seen some TikTok videos on it, but not that exact thing, but I just think, like, informing people of that stuff, I think people would be, like, shocked.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a grabber. It's one of the things that can get the people work in fraud know this stuff. So it's speaking to an audience that already knows some of it, but it's still I find it interesting. So
Yeah, very.
mhm.
So, what would you say is the do you think video has the out of all the type of content, what would you say is the type of content that has the biggest impact on your consumers? Would you say it's video, written, graphics? Yeah, between all the type of content you make.
The long form content for our audience has staying power. In general, like B2B SaaS, what I've found is that ebooks tend to have a lot of staying power or
Mhm,
how-to guides, things like that.
mhm.
But as far as what gets the most engagement and what I want to do more of, it's actually a pain point is with this as a small team with not a huge budget. How do you do video? Because it's quite
Yeah.
costly. Um, so we're still figuring that out. We've managed to put some videos out, a couple testimonials. One was an event that we were able to get it down to a 3 minute, 4 minute, like
Oh, that's
really
good.
the top bits from it. And I've actually like I'm meeting with a vendor and soon to see if there are things that we can do for social,
Yeah.
like short form video, make it easy kind of
Mhm.
thing. And it's a pain point we're still figuring out, but we do have a new production company that we're working with, and so I'm very excited about that maybe we
That's
can
awesome.
actually get the ball rolling. Yeah.
Yeah. I know it's crazy because it used to really be we'd focus back, I guess I'm going back probably 7 years ago now, but blogs. It was all about blogs, which
No.
we still encourage our clients to have, like, we have a blog and it's good obviously for SEO, but the video now is really that's what most people's attention spans are very short now because they're looking at
Yeah.
so much content all day long. So video really is. We find the same thing with our clients. Somebody will put out a blog, and then we'll make a video on the same exact thing, and the video gets so much more engagement. So it's just,
But
it is
are you
like,
able to drive them to the blog then from the
yeah.
video? Are you
So
able to drive them so that they can get more info if they want it, kind of thing?
absolutely. So we
Yeah.
call it a CTA, call to action, which you might know. And
Oh,
so
yeah.
yeah,
Oh, of course.
yeah, I'm sure you do this.
Yeah.
Yes.
I live that same TV.
So we'll drive them. Yeah. So we'll drive them there. You put, depending on what platform you're using, say you're on Instagram, you put a link in your bio or CT at the bottom. Even if a lot of times we won't show the full video, we'll just do a clip of it and say, but
Yep.
like a really engaging clip that they're going to want to watch more of. And then say for the full version, just click the link in your bio or, in your Instagram story. There's a ton of different ways to do it. But if you can just hook their attention with the video, even if it's, to be honest, like the video that does best now on social media is 15 to, honestly, like it's 8 to 15 seconds. It can go up to a
Yep.
minute and a half, but the shorter the better now, which makes it hard, to be honest. But if you can just hook
It's
that
very
and then
hard.
drive them, yeah, it's very
Yeah.
hard.
For B2B, it's
Very
really
hard.
hard, particularly.
I
Like,
know that's a
so,
whole other
you know,
thing. Yeah.
yeah, trying to find like something that's like catchy
But
is, we get it sometimes, but it's a
no, it's a challenge.
continuing process.
B2B is a
Yeah.
lot harder, in my opinion, with video stuff. Because, for instance, would you post on social media or do you?
We are not real. We're mostly using Instagram
Okay.
for cultural stuff more than like the culture of the company kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
And then, yeah, and I don't actually have anything to do with it. It's
Okay.
another team that's handling that. But LinkedIn is where we
LinkedIn's better.
live as far as for a B2B kind of approach. I do think there are opportunities on Facebook, but we don't have the bandwidth to figure it out because it would take some figuring it out kind of
Yeah.
thing. And I would love to. I don't think I'm gonna be able to do it with a fraud prevention kind of company, but I'd love to do some TikToks. I'd love to figure out like what works for B2B on TikTok and what can you get away with, what will not erode your brand because you can't be too
Yep.
flippant but I'd love that. I'd love to be able to take that challenge on, but right now
Yeah.
we just want to get regular videos out
No,
and
I
then
get
maybe
it.
that.
But it would be very cool. And it's also a great point about finding the balance between being engaging and fun because TikTok is younger, but then not
Yeah.
blowing your reputation. Like I saw this defense attorney on TikTok that actually this marketing podcaster was talking about. And this guy has gotten all these criminals off the hook, but they're like really bad criminals. So he goes and he's
Oh,
interviewing the criminals as to what he got them off of. And they're like the most heinous crimes. And the marketer was
wow.
just saying, this is what not to do because yes, it's engaging, but you're just diminishing your credibility. So that's an extreme example. But I think
Yeah.
people on TikTok almost want to be like too open sometimes, which is just not good for any type of content. You don't want to do that.
I think it is a fine line. Yeah, the
Yeah.
whole transparency versus messaging kind of thing.
Yes,
It's a delicate thing to maneuver across.
exactly.
But yeah, I think for B2B, at least B2B tech or SaaS platforms, I have generally erred on the side of being a little careful because
Yes.
you don't want to have things blow up.
No, no. That's like
So,
the quickest way to
yeah.
ruin your reputation. So I think people don't
Yeah.
realize that either. It's you want to be creative and have fun, but you can't go too far, especially if you are like a
Yeah.
more serious company.
Yeah. And I do what I can. And I feel like I do a lot actually to make things engaging. There's the technical stuff you can do, like using active voice, varying your sentence length, making sure there's a music
Yeah.
to the, like when you read your sentences out loud, does it have like
Oh,
almost a
that's a good
rhythm to
tip.
it?
Yeah.
And it really makes a difference. I have this really great graphic that I can't pull up right now, but that shows it's talking about sentence length, it
Uh-huh.
varies the sentence length and the rhythm of the sentences. And it really shows exactly how powerful that can be. It's so good. It's by Gary Prevost. I don't know who this fella is, but he was brilliant. So,
That's actually a really
but I
good.
can share it with you.
Yeah, I'd love to see that. I don't think a lot of people, we primarily do video, but we also do a ton of written content as well. And I think that
Mm.
people don't, especially a lot of marketing companies I've seen today now with AI, they'll just put these articles out that are just AI. I don't know if you encounter that at all, but yeah, I'm sure you do. So as someone with your expertise, it probably drives you crazy because they're just like they'll be run on sentences or they'll just be not even full sentences. The language is jarring. It just is a mess. And I'm seeing companies instead of really investing time and either working with a copywriter or a content marketer, they're just throwing something into Chat GPT. And yes, it'll help your SEO in terms of keyword ranking, etc., but not it's if someone's going to really read it, I think it will turn them off from your content and your website.
I focus on trying to make the content do both, have an SEO value as
Right.
well as be engaging. And Gen AI has its place, and it's a great tool for
Yes.
people who are pretty well versed in what is good, people that already know what is good. Like I've used it to get me a something to start with, so
Mhm.
that something that might have taken me a half hour takes me
Yep.
15 minutes. But like it's, you can read it, it's so bland, everything
Exactly.
is so bland. Like you said jarring, but I just find it like bland. And it's also a challenge is that they, when you're writing for a company, the Gen AI tends to want to focus on the company, and that
Mhm.
is not the focus. Like it's about your customer. It's
Yes.
about, so I'm always looking towards making the content be about solving a problem or informing or something. And instead, like the Gen AI often wants to focus on Riskified does this and no, it's not about we, it's about you. Like
Yes.
we want things that say or second person. That'd be my other tip. Like very sentence length and always be focusing on you, not on we or
Yes.
us or our.
That's actually a really great tip too. Actually, speaking of which, when you're writing copy for a video or someone on your team is or someone you're working with, do you focus on sentence structure and I guess the same way as you would if you're putting out a graphic or a blog?
Oh, it's very different. Yeah. It's the good things, good writing, it translates. When you're speaking out loud, you can be a lot different.
Exactly.
And I do find, interestingly enough, I have found some overlap in the approach to videos with infographics, which I guess makes sense since there's graphics
Oh,
in them.
yeah. Yeah.
But like it's that short, engaging, get to the point writing that, and it's encapsulating a lot in a small amount.
Mhm.
And then also like getting rid of the chaff, like
Yes.
getting rid of the stuff that doesn't add to the story, but like also finding the nuggets that are the like the thing that I was just talking to somebody and I was saying how when I've been mentoring younger writers, I say find the weird. Like you
I
need
like
to
that.
find the weird, because then they know it's not AI, like
Yes.
it's not been generated. It's really about, oh, that's interesting. Like that dark web thing I was talking about, like they do a
Yes.
lot of gaslighting, a lot of social engineering. And so I was, ooh, social engineering,
Mhm.
gaslighting. Let's dig into that. Let's get those words out there. You don't
Yep.
see those all the time.
No, it's true. It's the same
Yeah.
as like how we said the really short videos for social media that I primarily make. It's the same thing. You really have to hone in on the most interesting in the shortest amount of time to hook your audience. Whereas when you're writing, you can string it out longer and it just has a different flow to it.
Yeah, they serve different. They can all be educational and informative, and
Yes.
I like videos. I feel like need to be a little bit of entertainment
Mhm.
more than even written also, but I don't know. They need a little more pizzazz, more like accessibility, and
Yes.
then they like just what you were saying earlier, like with the CTA to something longer,
Mhm.
so that
Yes.
they're whetting your appetite kind of thing,
That's
and
great.
so that you want to know more.
Yes, because
So
I
yeah.
do think we encounter this too with our clients is that when they are doing video, I think people forget that the goal isn't just to put out a great piece of content. Obviously, that's a huge part of it, but you are trying to lead them somewhere. Like that's the top of the funnel if you want to look at it like that. And then that's what's driving them in,
Yeah.
whether that's just for a normal social media video or a video ad, but you are driving them somewhere. You don't want to just leave them on your page with nothing to do.
Yeah, it's all about the relationship.
Yep.
These are all the things that are building that relationship with the public, hopefully the public that is interested in your product. But
Mhm.
yeah, the short, and then, oh, I need to know a little bit more. Okay, we have something for you,
Exactly.
kind
Here
of
it
thing.
is. Yep. Yeah.
Here it is. And here's your next little nugget. Here's another
Exactly.
thing. Like,
Exactly.
don't you want to see our demo?
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. Now buy you want our product, right? But you gotta warm it up. So,
Yeah, totally.
if you could give, I guess, if there was or what advice would you give to a brand or a company who hasn't really done much in terms of content marketing or digital marketing? Yeah, what advice would you give them to improve their digital experience or their digital content?
Mm. So they haven't done very much, and let's assume they're B2B because
Yes,
that's my
let's focus
specialty.
on that. Yes.
That's my specialty. If they're B2B and they're solving problems for their customers, I think I really I've had so much success with this that I really think that the pillar piece of content,
Mm,
whether that's a research study, whether it's a thought piece that is the the things you need to know kind of thing,
mhm,
or but something that's very solid, that's backed up with expertise. It's nice when you can bring in expertise from elsewhere, or maybe from your customers who are willing to give you a quote and say, oh yeah, this is what works. Start with that, because you can spin off so many things from that with relative ease, and so you get a lot of bang for your buck, and you can really make a lot of different assets that will work for a lot of situations. In-person meetings, it just informs so many things. And my last company, we did some amazing things around that. Like we did a thought leadership piece that was it was advertising is dead and
oh, yeah.
positing all these things that are like ad blockers and
Mhm,
ad fatigue and ad blindness would be that would be what that was. And of course advertising isn't actually fully dead or anything. It's just that we are fragmented so
mhm.
much more. But your how do you get engagement? How do you get what you um, are trying to get from your ad campaign, or from your content, I should say? So from that, like it got a lot of hurrahs, a lot of engagement, and a lot of attention in the media and our media, B2B media, like not New York Times, but it's all context.
Still cool, yeah.
It was very cool. Actually, it ended up winning an award, like a National Business Award. So that
Oh,
was
that's
amazing.
awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, that was really cool. It was such a surprise. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, when does a marketing content win award?
Oh,
Oh, okay, cool. So that was cool. But then we managed to spin off the infographics, the blogs, the all the webinars, the in-person meetings, like the big on-stage meetings. But then we also did a microsite that was a murder mystery, like who killed advertising,
oh, that's
kind of
really
thing. So
cool.
you went through an experiential thing of, was it consumers? Was it
Oh,
the
I like
technology?
that.
Was it this? There were 6 different options that you could choose and go through this whole experience of figuring out who killed it.
That's super
So
creative. I love that.
yeah, it was fun. It was
Yeah.
fun.
I think
The
that's
greater team.
the what?
No, I was going to say it's like the whole team had a hand in that. So
Yeah, that's a really creative idea. I love that. And I really think
mhm.
that's fantastic advice that you just shared about having that one pillar of that one piece of content that you can just do anything with. And I think a ton of companies, brands that are making content actually it takes a while to even figure that out. Like that took us a while to figure out. We eventually created
Mhm.
a digital marketing like master course. So it goes through how to create high quality digital videos basically. But for the first 2 years of our company, we didn't really have that big thing to give away or lead magnet. And then eventually, after listening to all these marketing podcasts and talking to other people, we were like, oh, wait, we need just that piece of content you could do a bunch of different things with. And we've used it. It's been over a year or two, and we've cut it into a mini course. We've posted it on our social media. We've emailed it to people. We've used it for new customers to send it to them. It's really limitless, and it didn't take us that long to make. But it's once it's done, you have that, and you could
And
do,
it lasts.
and it lasts exactly. And you could do
It
spin-offs.
lasts. It's not a, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. keeps on delivering.
Exactly. So I think that's really helpful. So for anyone watching, great way to begin, create that really important piece of content that is like pivotal to your brand or business, I'd say, and then go from there. Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. Laura, thank you so much. This has been really awesome. And I think what you're doing is fantastic. You're doing something super unique. I don't talk to a lot of people who are in like the space that you're in. So,
Mm,
especially like on the content side, it's usually just, oh, we're making videos. So, I think what you're doing is a really
mm,
cool in between thing. But
yeah.
if people want to get in touch with you or find you, what's the best way to, yeah, look you up online, email, LinkedIn?
Probably my LinkedIn, which
Okay.
is Laura Dobbins, Dobbins.
Okay.
Yeah, that's probably the best way. So
Okay, and I'll link
send me a
that
message.
below.
Sure.
And before we end, do you have any other thing you'd want to leave us with? Piece of advice, just statement, what anything? And no pressure.
Uh, go through life kindly. I don't know, with
Yeah,
kindness in your heart. Go through
more
life
people,
with kindness in your
I
heart.
love that. More people
But
need
that's
that
not really
advice.
content. That's not really content
No,
oriented.
that's just
That's
good
just
life
life.
advice. Yeah.
But for content, the one big advice, I'm not sure what the one big advice is, but
You gave a
just
ton of great advice.
I think it's actually, I think that here's my advice is
Okay.
to it does lead into the kindness, which is be kind to yourself when you're making content and allow
Yeah.
yourself to fail and figure out how it failed and then do better, and you will. Like, so people are so scared of content and writing and things like that, and it's really, you just got to do it, and then you get
Love that.
better and you get better and you get better. So that would be my last words on content for people, what I
No,
would want for people.
that's huge. Again, I wrote a whole, like 2 chapters in my book about this, but it's really I think people are
Mhm.
terrified to make content, and
Yeah,
especially if your face is in it, I think that's totally normal, but I think when you're first starting out, you don't realize how normal that is, so you're, like, scrutinizing everything about yourselves. I think women also tend to do this a lot, but you, like, hyper fixate on your voice, the way you look, your hair, your makeup, but it's just practice, and it didn't Rome
yeah,
wasn't built in a day, so just I think the more you put out, the more you do it, the easier it gets. And then you start getting more comfortable. And then the world is your oyster.
yeah.
Well, thank you
That's
so much,
great.
Laura. It was great talking to you. And go look her up on LinkedIn and connect if you would like. And I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.
Thank you.